Hello! I think we are live on all counts. Welcome to Chill. Today we're just gonna keep it simple. No props needed unless if you're someone who likes props, which I'm very happy if you do like props. I'll just wait a couple of minutes for anyone else to join. And hello. If you're ready, we'll meet in Child's Pose. If that's not accessible to you today, I invite you to lay on your back. So Child's Pose would be knees out wide, toes to touch, arms stretched out in front. Sink your hips back, find length in your spine. Hands reach forward. If you need a different pose, you can also bring your knees together, sit back. And if you're feeling tight and unable to sit back all the way, you can bring a blanket between your calf and your thigh. Or you can even bring your forearms in front of you and allow your head to rest on top of your forearms. Find your own position. Find what feels right to you. And start to allow your body to feel settled. Maybe you give yourself a little wiggle in the hips, a little wiggle in your shoulders, maybe a little wiggle in the neck, head. Establish yourself where you are right now. Start to notice your connection physically with the space you are in. Notice the areas in your body that are connected to the mats. Notice the sounds that surround you. Notice the air on your skin, maybe the clothes on your skin as well. Maybe your eyes are closed here. And if not, maybe you fix your gaze in one place. Starting to go inside, noticing our emotion, our mentality. Are there any thoughts that you've brought with you to this space? Notice with curiosity. Maybe you notice what emotion or feeling is brought with that thought. Giving space for your thoughts is always important. Now we can take a moment to inhale as deeply as we can. Breathe into the belly. And exhale, let it all go. Two more like this. Inhale, fill the lungs, fill the belly. Open mouth, let it all go. Inhale, fill lungs, fill belly. Open mouth, let it all go. Noticing for 8 full breaths where the air is going. Maybe you keep the focus just on your nose. Air coming in the nose and out of the nose. Maybe you notice the breath brushing against the top lip. Maybe you imagine the breath going in deeper, filling the lungs. Maybe you imagine your ribcage expanding on all sides. Maybe you feel your belly fill up with air. And maybe you notice how much air you can squeeze out of your body as gently as you can. Here for 3 more breaths. And start to rock your forehead from side to side, wherever it is. If your head does not find the surface, bring your arms forward, bend at the elbows, and allow your head to rock from side to side on one of your forearms. If your arms are bent, draw them back forward, tense them up at the fingertips, and walk your hands over to the right side of the mat. Maybe your left hand stacks over the right side. Inhale, breathe into the left side. Imagine your left hip drawing back behind you, your left side as long as you can make it. Start to walk your hands over to the right hand, your left hand side. Right hand maybe stacks over the left hand. Draw your right hip away from you. Inhale, lengthen into the right side of the body. Imagine your armpits spreading out long, rib cage, your obliques, your hips. One more breath. Walk your hands back to center. Hands reaching forward. Look forward. Press each finger into the ground. Draw yourself up to tabletop pose. Just warming up the wrists here. Roll circles over the wrists. Maybe your shoulders pass the wrists forward. Try to find full range here, side to side, back and front. Switch directions. Getting a little bit into the hips here as well. Bring yourself back to center. Flip both palms towards yourself. So fingertips are facing your legs. Press your fingertips into the ground. Start to lean back. If this is too intense for you, you can start to walk your knees in. We're going to find a full range here. So maybe you bounce front and back if you have that movement. A lot of this class is about exploring what your range is and not pushing it too much. I think the point of this chill class is to feel good. So we will do that. Bring yourself back to center. And we're going to Draw ourselves back, stretching into the palms. So your fingertips are in the ground. You're going to start to lift your palms up off of the mat, stretching into your fingers. The cool thing about this is that you have control over how far you go, using your legs, using your motion here. Hold here for one more full breath. Slowly draw yourself back to center. Bring one palm forward, the other palm forward, going straight into cat-cows. Drop the belly, rise the chest. Exhale, round the back, gaze towards your navel. Press away from the ground here. Inhale, belly drops, chest rise. Maybe your chin lifts, maybe you look behind. Exhale, press away from the ground, round the back, gaze towards your navel. Go for 3 more rounds on your own time. Maybe you get into your shoulders more. Maybe you get into your hips. Maybe you get into your side body. This is the time to explore. Bring yourself back to center when you're ready. Lean your way into your left leg. Bring your right leg to the side, still bent at that 90-degree angle. Start to draw your right knee back behind you. Sole of foot is towards the ceiling. Draw your knee to chest. Draw your knee back behind you. Knee out to the side. Tilt that right foot up towards the ceiling and draw it back to parallel to the ground. Bring that knee back into the chest. Draw that knee out to the side, to the back, to the chest. Draw it back behind you, out to the side. Tilt that foot back up towards the ceiling. Bring it back to parallel to the ground. Bring it into center. One more time. Right knee out to the side. Draw it back. Knee to chest. Knee back behind. Knee out to the side. Draw it foot up and bring it down back to center. Lean onto that right leg. Left knee out to side. Bring it back. Bring knee to chest. Bring the knee behind, out to side. Draw that left foot up. Bring it back to parallel. Knee back to center. Knee out to the side. Bring it back behind. Bring your knee to chest. Bring the knee behind, out to the side. Draw that left foot up. Bring it back to center. One last time. Knee out to side. Draw it back. Knee to chest. Knee behind. Draw it out to side. Bring that left foot up towards ceiling. And knee back to center. Okay, so that was just a little bit of lubrication of the hips. We're going to sit back now onto our feet, toe stands. So toes are tucked underneath you. Stack the hips over the heels, shoulders over hips. Bring your hands together, clasp them, and draw figure 8s with your hands. Getting a little bit more into those wrist joints. Switch directions. That's the most difficult part of this class mentally. And bring your hands out. We're gonna make little starbursts, but the tiniest ones. Our hands are out wide, our fingertips are out wide, and we're just gonna press our fingers as wide as we can. It's gonna look a little strange and feel a little strange, but our hands are always curled in when we're typing, when we're on our phone. Just trying to undo that, exercise those muscles that help us expand. Forearms reach towards each other. Inhale, rise chest, draw your elbows back behind you. Exhale, forearms toward each other, round down. Inhale, arms out wide, chest lifts. Exhale, forearms together, round the back. Inhale, forearms out wide, lift the chest. Exhale, forearms together, round down. Reach forward, bring yourself up to downward facing dog. Knees bent, find a length in your spine here first. Drawing the crown of the head towards the mat. Drawing your sit bones away from your head. Imagining your body growing long here. Start to straighten out the right leg, deepening that bend in the left. And alternate legs, bend deeply in the right leg. Straighten out the left. And find that slow motion pedal here. Staying strong in the shoulders. Still finding that length in the tailbone, in your spine. And when you're ready, find stillness here. Imagining your front body engaged here and your back body lengthening. It doesn't matter if your heels are down, maybe you're trying to reach them down to the ground. Sit bones up towards the sky. One more full breath. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk forward to the front of your mat, feet hip-width distance apart. Knees bend deeply. Find your Ragdoll Pose. Grab opposite elbows here. First, focusing on the spine by bending our knees deeply here. Maybe you find gentle motion from side to side. Maybe your head nods yes and no. If your spine is feeling good, maybe you start to straighten your legs out, getting into the hamstrings. Otherwise, keep those arms heavy, keep your head heavy here. We'll stay here for 3 more full breaths. Hands reach down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, roll up slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, to stand. Arms reach up high. Exhale, cactus your arms, lift the chest. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant hands, step back to plank. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Hands outside of chest, tuck the toes. Make your way to tabletop to downward dog. Stay here 3 full breaths. Heels reaching down towards the ground. Maybe your knees are slightly bent here, focusing on that length in the spine. Sit bone rising high. Crown of head is lengthened towards your thumbs. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Walk forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise high to stand. Arms reach up high. Exhale, cactus arms, chest lifts. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward, plant hands, step back to plank. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, up. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Hands outside of chest. Make your way to tabletop to downward dog. 3 breaths here. Each knuckle into the ground. Maybe your legs feel a little warmed up. Maybe they're straightened a little bit more. Sit bones rise up high. Find length in the spine. Find your breath. Breathe into that side body. Breathe into the belly. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Walk forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise high, arms reach up tall. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, plant hands, step back to plank. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands reach outside of mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, up. Exhale, roll to the ground. Hands outside of chest, tuck the toes. Make your way to downward dog. Two full breaths here. Find that length. Find that engagement in the front body. Inhale, right leg reaches tall. Exhale, find your scorpion dog. Right knee bends, heel to hip. Inhale, right leg reaches high. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it through. Low lunge. Back knee down. Arms reach up high. Find your Anjaneyasana. Draw your right heel in towards your hips. Left leg draws towards the hips as well. Bring your hands clasped behind your head. Draw your chest up towards the ceiling. Draw your head up towards the ceiling, your gaze up. Maybe your elbows reach towards your back. Maybe you start to sink down into the hips, opening up that left hip flexor, making sure your hips are square to the front of the mat. Slowly draw yourself up the center. Hands reach in front of you. Sit those hips back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Draw that right heel in towards your right hip. Half splits. One more full breath here. Full breath out. Hands crawl forward in front of you. Left hand plants down, right arm reaches up. Find a simple twist. Right arm reaches forward to the front of the mat. And imagine you're pulling a bow and arrow. So draw your right elbow behind you. And then reach it forward. One more time. Draw that elbow behind you. And reach it forward. Slowly draw your right hand down to the ground. Left foot tucks under. Straighten both legs. Triangle pose. Right foot down to the ground. Hands plant. Step back to plank. Knees down. Lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Draw your chest up. Right shoulder down. Inhale up to center. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Hands outside of the chest. Tuck your toes. Make your way to downward dog. 2 breaths here. Inhale, left leg reaches high. Bend the knee, heel to hip. Open the hips up to the left side. Scorpion pose. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee draws to nose. Step it through. Low lunge, right knee down. Arms reach up towards the sky. Find Anjaneyasana here. Left heel into the ground, draw it towards your hips. Right leg draws towards your hips. Clasp your hands behind you and support your head with your hands. Maybe your elbows draw towards each other behind your back. Open your chest up towards the ceiling. Gaze towards the ceiling. Maybe you start to sink down into your hips, finding that stretch into your right hip flexor. Trying to keep your hips square to the front of the mat. 1 more breath here. Lift that chest up high. Start to lift your hips up. Release your clasp of the hands. Hands reach down to the ground. Straighten your front legs. Sink those hips back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward folds, half splits here. Plug that left heel into your hips. If you need more supports, you can find blocks, pillows, chairs, whatever you need. You can even use your own leg as supports. So you can brace your, support yourself by keeping your left hand on your thigh, right hand on your shin. Test of balance. Start to crawl your hands forward, bend into that front leg. Right hand plants down, left arm reaches up, simple twist. Left arm starts to reach forward to the front of the mat and start to draw that left elbow back behind you as if you're drawing a bow and arrow. Start to reach that left arm forward once again. Draw that string back. Elbow reaches behind. Reach that left arm forward. Slowly let it reach down to the ground. Plant hands, step back to plank. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up. Exhale, left shoulder down. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, roll it down to the ground. Hands outside of chest. Make your way to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches high. Exhale, find your scorpion dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through. Low lunge, find Anjaneyasana, arms reach up high. Find your back bend, maybe your hands are clasped behind you. Inhale, reach up high. Hands down to the ground, hips shift back, find your half splits. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stay here. 3 full breaths. Plug that right heel into your hip. Try to keep a flat back here. And start to walk your hands on the outside of your right leg, getting deeper into the side of the right leg here. You might find a half lift and a forward fold. Keeping a flat back, noticing your range. 1 more full breath here. Full breath out. Start to walk those hands back to center, bend into that right leg, left foot, left hand plants down into the ground, right arm reaches up high. Reach that right arm forward to the front of the mat and draw it back behind you. Reach it forward, hands down to the ground, step back to plank, knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Draw yourself up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale up to center. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale up to center. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Hands outside of chest. Downward dog. One full breath here. Find that length. Reset. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, scorpion pose. Open that hip up. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it through. Low lunge. Back knee down. Rise those hands up. Start to find that back bend. Maybe your hands find that space behind your head. Draw that chest up. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hands reach down. Draw those hips behind you. Straighten that back, that front leg. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Find your length in your spine. Plug that left heel into your hip. 3 breaths here. Find that breath. Maybe play around with your foot. Flexed versus not. Flexed for me gets more into the back of my leg. Start to walk your hands on the outside of the left foot. Find that half lift and forward fold, resetting the hips, making sure they're still square to the front of the mat. Finding that length in the spine. One more breath here. And breath out. Hands walk forward to the front of the mat. Right hand stamps down, left arm lifts up. Find that simple twist. Left hand reaches forward to the front of the mat. Draw that bow and arrow back behind you. Left arm reaches forward. Find the mat on the ground. Step back to plank. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Hands outside the chest. Make your way to downward dog. Reset. One full breath. Bring your knees down to the ground. Shift forward. Find your way down to the ground, onto your belly. Bring your hands outside of the mat. Draw your chest up. And start to walk your right fingertips over to the left side of the mat. Walk your left fingertips over to the right side of the mat. Inhale, find that length in the spine. Exhale, let your chest lower down. Let your chin lower down. What this should be doing is you should be feeling an opening in the scapula, the shoulder blade of your right side. Giving a little bit of compression to the right shoulder head. And start to allow your chest and your head to relax as much as you can. And starting to slow down our exhales here. Maybe your gaze starts to melt down Finding a fixed point, or you close your eyes. Can you imagine yourself melting a little bit more with each exhale? Staying here for about 5 more breaths. Finding your breath, letting it settle, letting your body settle into the ground. And start to find some movement, lifting the chest, gently lifting the head. Start to unravel the arms, bringing them outside of the mat. Chest is lifted slightly, and we're just going to do some gentle shoulder rolls here. Rolling them back, rolling them forward. Maybe you want to alternate the shoulder roll or do that at the same time. Lift the chest even more. Left arm reaches outside of right side. Right arm reaches outside over to the left. Draw that chest up. Find length in the spine. Inhale. And exhale, let your body rest down. Chest rests down. And your chin should be hooked over your right shoulder or tricep, bicep. Here you should be feeling the left shoulder blade opening here and feeling some compression on the left shoulder. I'm thinking about keeping things simple. And what does that mean? What does that allow us to do? Does it allow us to explore more? Allow us to be more in tune with how our body is feeling, how our thoughts are reacting and feelings are reacting. Finding those simple movements that allow us to check in with ourselves. About 4 more breaths here. Can you find some relaxation in the face? Maybe your eyes loosen a little bit. Maybe your brows find some space. Maybe you can feel yourself or imagine yourself sinking more and more to the ground. Start to lift the chest, lift the head. Unravel the arms. Hands reach out to the sides. Draw the chest up. Find little shoulder rolls here. And reverse the direction. Draw your forearms down to the ground And have your shoulders stacked over your elbows, palms down into the ground, finding Sphinx Pose. Tops of feet pressed into the ground, palms into the ground. Arms should be shoulder width apart. Look forward. Draw your sternum through your arms. Draw your sternum slightly up. Find length in the spine. Imagine someone attaching a string to the crown, the top of your head, and pulling it up towards the ceiling. Palms press into the ground. And imagine yourself dragging your palms towards your body. That might create a slight opening in the chest towards the front of the room. And recalibrate that neck, that spine, head reaching towards the ceiling. Imagining yourself to be an awesome seal that's just bathing in the sun, or a mermaid. There's many things. Sphinx, probably, since it is called Sphinx Pose. Two more breaths here. And start to release yourself down to the ground. Flip yourself onto your back. Find your feet into the ground. Bring your left ankle over your right thigh. Hands reach behind your right thigh. If you have more mobility here, maybe you reach your hands outside of your right shin, figure 4. Keep your left foot flexed here. And once again, calibrate what feels right to you. If you need even more, you can bring your right leg up and stack it over your right hip. Sending your breath to your hips, to your glutes. Just noticing. Can you allow your shoulders to relax onto the ground? Few more breaths here. Bring your arms out to the side, keeping that figure 4 shape. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop your legs over to the right side of the mat. If this feels okay to you, maybe your gaze is over your left shoulder. Supine twist. If this feels good to you, maybe you gently press that left leg away from you. Notice what happens. Three more breaths here. If your right hand is pressed against the leg, bring it back to the sun. Draw your legs back into center. And reverse and switch up that hold. Right ankle over left thigh. Hands reach for left around the back of the left thigh. And if that feels good, maybe you go for outside of the left shin. If you want a little bit more than that, you can even draw your left foot over towards your body. Keeping that right foot flexed. Notice where you want to send your breath to. Even if it's somewhere other than the hips, you can find yourself imagining that breath sending healing oxygen to the space that needs healing, needs breath. Shoulders resting onto the ground. Face is relaxed. The mind is relaxed. A few more breaths here. Starting to release the hands, bring them out to a T or cactus. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop your legs over to the left side. If it feels good to you, maybe your gaze is over your right shoulder. Maybe you start to find a gentle smile in your lips. Maybe you just notice what's surrounding you right now. Noticing where you are in the present. Noticing what you're feeling physically and mentally. A few more breaths. Keeping those long exhales, slowing the heart rate. Draw your legs back into center. Unravel. Feet into the ground. Knees up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands up overhead and clasp opposite elbows. This is all we're going to do. Bring your gaze over to the right and over to the left. Over to the right and over to the left. Getting some gentle movement in the neck. Bring your gaze back to center. And we will go into final Savasana. If you need any final poses, allow yourself to do that now. Otherwise, we're going to go for a longer Savasana than usual. Legs extended wide. Arms out to the side, palms face up. Allow yourself to get comfortable here. Take a deep inhale. Fill the chest. Fill the belly. Open mouth, sigh it all out. 2 more like this. Inhale, fill the chest. Fill the belly. Open mouth, sigh it all out. Inhale, fill the chest. Fill the belly. Sigh it all out. start to allow your body to relax. We'll start from our toes. Maybe if it feels right to you, you can do some engagements. If you don't want to engage, just be mindful. From the toes, start to clench the toes and release. Let it relax. The feet, clench the feet, engage any muscle in the feet you can think of, and let it go. Up to the calves, engaging the calves, flexing the calves, and let it go. To your knees, flexing your knees also would be your quads, and let it go. Up to your glutes, engage the glutes, feel your slight lift, and let it go. To your core, use your core, but let it go. To your hands, clenching the hands and letting it go. Up to your arms, engage your arms, your forearms, your biceps, triceps, and let it go. Your shoulders, engaging the shoulder muscles and letting it go. Up to the neck, tensing the neck and letting it go. Up to your face, scrunching your face up, use every muscle and let it go, let it melt. Allow yourself to melt down and just be here. And tonight we'll be ending in Savasana. Allow yourself to stay there as long as you need to. And just a reminder to keep things simple when you need to make space for yourself, to allow yourself to check in with your heart, with your physical self, with your minds. With that, I bring my hands together to my heart center in gratitude for sharing this practice with you, for moving together, for freeing our minds and our bodies together. Thank you and namaste.